changes are listed in the preliminary staff measure summary and do not have more than a minimal fiscal impact to the Secretary of State or counties. The bill also provides that if any bills passed during the current session are referred to voters by referendum petition, a special election on the question will be held on January 23rd, 2018. Absent this provision, the question would be decided in the November 2018 general election. The Legislative Fiscal Office recommends adoption of the B-14 amendments.
B-14?
Yes. These amendments limit the special election only to a referendum on House Bill 2391. That's the provider tax bill. If any other measures are referred to voters by referendum petition, the question will be decided at the November general election. The amendments also delete the blank appropriation to the emergency board in the bill. The fiscal impact of this special election is indeterminate. The Secretary of State's budget does not include funding for a special election. If a special election is held, the Secretary of State will request funds either during the 2018 session or from the emergency board following that session after election costs are known. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize, it's probably a little more along the policy line. How come January was picked? Does it, because I know there was some controversy around this, does it have to do with waiting later in the year creates a financial challenge, or why January? Anybody.
I think that's a policy decision, and you'd have to ask the people who made it.
I can speak to it. We talked about this in the Rules Committee. If the provider tax is referred, that's the soonest we could have it on the ballot to get some assurances about whether we're moving forward with the provider tax, as opposed to waiting until May or November and having that uncertainty, not having certainty until later in the year. So it was the first date we could put it on the ballot to
So it
solve
was
that problem.
kind of a financial decision.
Mr. Co-Chair.
Co-Chair Girod, I move the adoption of the,
Oops, sorry. Senator Devlin?
I'm not trying to editorialize, but the reality is if the provider tax is referred, if it's entirely referred, we would be in such budget disarray that we need to know what is going to happen, because we would have to try to address it in February. Even if all that was referred is the insurance tax portion of it, we would be in similar disarray, and we would have to take action. Unlike some statements that have been made, our budget would be unbalanced if the voters' action was not in the affirmative. And we would have to do major corrections to the budget if those were possible in February.
Okay. Any other comments that I'm missing here? Okay, Mr. Co-Chair.
Co-Chair Girod, I move the adoption of the B-14 amendment to Senate Bill 229.
Colleagues, you've heard the motion to move the draft B-14 to Senate Bill 229. Is there any opposition to that? Seeing none or hearing none, so moved.
Co-Chair